Hey, Landria here, back from an outing, looking a little scruffy. Wanted to sit down and have a talk with you. I want to answer some viewer questions, some very important questions that you've had regarding how do you deal with the negative people? How do you love and have compassion for the very thing that is causing the pain and suffering on this planet? I'm going to address that, including the eclipse that's coming up, and how does this whole split happen with the new earth. I'm going to answer a few of these questions so that you can find some peace and move forward in that higher dimension and know that you're going to be okay no matter what. You ready? Let's get going. Welcome to Landria Onkka on YouTube, here to help you break through the fears and live an amazing life. Breaking through, why? Breaking through means that there is a density on this earth that is going to exist. And as long as there are dense people, there is going to be density that we experience and feel because we are one collective. We came here to go through this whole adventure together. Somebody said to me, they corrected the manifesting term that I used. I said we create and co-create. When I said co-create, I mean that we are all entangled. So we are, as a collective, creating certain scenarios. Now, the reason I said create is you are always manifesting everything. So that is creation. That is just another word that I'm using so that you can envision that you are actually creating that, but it is actually something that exists out there as a probability. As a probability. It's not a complete scenario that exists and functioning. It's a scenario that you can shift into through your focus. So it exists. Everything exists at the same time. Absolutely everything. When you shift into it, you now manifest that reality for yourself. And when I say co-create, I mean that there are other people that are going to interact within that reality that you chose. So if you shift into this reality over here, and there may be certain people that play out there that are on your frequency that also want certain desire or choose certain realities, and these things all fit together. If you choose this one, you may be interacting with different people. So entanglement, right? Now your focus is in that area, like when you think about somebody and then they call. Did they call because you thought about them, or did you anticipate that they were going to call? It's entanglement of some kind that we actually really can't explain completely, right? So none of us has those answers, but I'm just using what we have learned about science so far that has demonstrated that this does work. The focus creates. Now many, actually, this is the biggest issue we have right now, and I want to address this one, and that is loving one another. If we don't do that, we are never coming out of the third dimension as individuals. If you don't do that, you will remain in a lower frequency, hands down, because the one loves us unconditionally. The rapists, the murderers, the beggars, I'm sorry, but where do you think they came from? The one. It's not like the ones up here, this, separate entity, and, these nasty people appeared. That is the one. You're looking at it. I know this is tough. And because we see individual things, because we see a material world, and we think, I'm me, and they're there, and they're over here, and they're bad, and we're over here doing good things, and they're the problem. No. We are the problem, and we're not even really a problem. We're just experiencing things. We're naming it good and bad when what we're not understanding is, and here's how we can go out of that whole, how do I love somebody? You don't have to have these feelings of love. Compassion is a different feeling. Compassion goes toward love. Compassion is, here's how you can look at it. I answered somebody's comment so that they could shift into this visual. Imagine that drug addict or that person who's doing stuff as a little baby, a little teeny beautiful baby in the middle of the woods with no mommy, hungry and wanting love and not getting it, and frightened and just crying. Doesn't that break your heart when I say that? No one wants a little baby to suffer out in the cold by itself. That's what they are. Those are little babies you're looking at. They were little babies once, and they still are. And they're striking out at the world. They're angry. And did you know I've never met one person who's done evil things that didn't come from that themselves, that hasn't been deeply hurt or neglected or experienced some type of abuse. And this is why we must be diligent on this and stop the cycle, because they don't know anything different, right? There are women who have been sexually abused that associate love with being abused. They associate with that, and sometimes they're very promiscuous because of that. They associate that with wanting to please somebody is to give themselves to someone. That exists. I'm not saying that's the case with everybody. I'm saying that's very common because we learn these things and we carry them with them. And if we internalize them in a negative way, we don't see any purpose in it, we strike out. All right? A lot of abused people, a lot of sexually abused, especially men, as children, often abuse children sexually. There's a connection to that. So again, that's not the case every time, but I'm just saying there is a pattern here, a replay of things that happen. So I want you to remember that when that person's doing something, they're just not like some jackass that decides they're going to do something. There's an energy field and a history and a pain and suffering that comes that's so deep that you can't help but have compassion for somebody who's in that dark place, that little baby in the woods that's in that dark place feeling no love. So can you go into that space? Because unless we do that, we can't make it better. Unless we open ourselves up. That's just like, right? The church rejecting people for not doing certain things. Isn't that sort of the opposite of what they're supposed to stand for? So let's say you do something, or you get a divorce, or you make a mistake, and then you're not allowed in the church? What is that? That's that kind of thinking of people who don't have compassion for those who are in a lower frequency, who are doing some nasty stuff out there. You're no different than a church that is a functioning as a hypocrite. And there are a lot of churches like that. Here's our rules, and if you don't do that, you're out. Wait a minute. I thought the church was supposed to especially welcome the sinners, right? Don't go into that space. So if you can imagine a hurt child, and if somebody's doing something really nasty, I guarantee you something happened to them at some point that damaged them very deeply. And if we can help them come out of that, no one really makes a mistake. Our test, I want you to remember this, instead of looking at them, I want you to look inside, and Jesus Christ taught this. He said, do not look at the outside world. Look in here. No matter what's going on out there, what's real is in here. In other words, he's saying everything that's going on out here can be changed by going in here. All of that can change, and don't be convinced that that is the way it's going to be, because if you do, then you are still creating it, right? This is it, I'm broke, or I'm this, I'm that, and then so you are actually creating it because that's the thoughts coming out. And what he was teaching is, in here, you know that anything out here can be changed. And this is why he did miracles, and people are like, oh my gosh, you can feed a whole, a couple hundred people at a wedding. How's that possible? We ran out of wine and bread. Well, he didn't see that they were out of wine and bread. He saw in here that all things are possible. And through that, and knowing it was done, this appeared out here. So whatever you're thinking about somebody else and separating is you rejecting your own power, your own energy. That's you. That is you. That's an extension of you out there. So I want to ask you right now, are you doing that? Probably. It's a tough one to get past, especially when they're doing stuff that really hits home with you, something like if it's children or animals, or it's something you especially have a real love for. But your disdain for these people is making it worse. This is a fact. That focus and that creation of hate and anger creates separation, and it creates a lower frequency which affects them because you're focused on them. So you are actually, your DNA is coiling up. Theirs is too. When yours opens up, they will. And if enough of us, and you guys are doing these mass meditations, enough of us focus on that, the DNA of everyone's will open up, and they will have power and a euphoric feeling. They still get to choose because we have individual journeys, but they will benefit. You will send them that higher frequency of which they will feel. Somebody was saying that they're getting some weird feelings going on, so I want you to understand another thing that happens. We are one, so you will feel a lot of things right now, both euphoric and maybe a little disturbing, that may not be yours. The collective is now really communicating in a higher way, because the higher frequency we go on, and I told you 25 megahertz or 25 hertz the earth has been calculated at, and that is way higher than it's ever been in the whole history of the planet. Same thing with yours. Your frequency is going up. When you raise your frequency, what's happening is you're tapping into everything. You become more psychic. Your inspiration is like off the charts. Your creativity, abundance, things will start to happen. Amazing stuff. I'm getting tons of stories from you guys who are going into that space. And I'm going to be launching another course. We're going to go manifesting into miracles. It's actually being a course, an online course that you can go through for a year. So I want to get you in that place where you're always going into that higher level space. Always, always, always. And then the more we do this, the more we affect another person. And if just one person goes into that space because of you and the rest of us, then they start to send out a higher frequency, and they affect one person, and they affect one. It's the butterfly effect, right? And then this all comes back around, and then you find out that you made a difference in that person's life because you showed compassion. What good are you doing when you think negatively about them? Give me one thing good that comes from that. Well, how can I refuse to love them. Oh, great. Stay in the third dimension. I really would prefer you didn't do that. I don't sit here and shoot these videos all day long so that you can sit there and criticize people and feel miserable because it makes you feel bad, right? It feels bad. You're doing it. They don't know what you're doing and thinking. That the vibes, the frequency you're putting out is negative. We're all going to pick up on that. But you're the one that truly has to deal with the frequency and the karma of that. Karma is happening right now. It's not going to be in the next 100 years. You can clear up your karma right now. Whatever you did the last billions of years before this, you can clear it up right now. This is the transition. Things are happening right now. Karma's just going by the wayside. And there is a cause and effect. So your anger and whatever else you're putting out, guess what's going to come back to you? Go ahead and make a mistake. See what happens. You will not get the compassion. Because that's what you're creating. We make mistakes, no compassion. You make a mistake, you won't get compassion. You're creating that. So I want you to understand that one. Everything's energy. So let's talk about that, the eclipse that's coming up on June 21st, I think it is. I didn't even know that. Because I don't pay attention to this stuff. I will look it up if I'm curious about something that's already happening or I'm feeling. I look it up. I don't want to get things planted in advance. We can create, if you read your horoscope, you're going to have a rotten day, right? Most of the time you'll have a rotten day. I wait till later and then look back to see if things really aligned that way. Because I believe I'm always in control of everything in my life. Even if things happen, I still get to choose how I feel about it. The planets, the sun, our frequency, the planet's frequency, how the stars and the planets are all aligning absolutely affect us because everything's energy. And yes, there is something to astrology. I'm not into it, but I know that they affect us, right? Because we are energy. And so what's happening is when that all aligns, that's when the moon comes between the sun and the earth. That's what's going to happen. I don't know what that's going to mean energetically, but I think we should celebrate it. I think we should celebrate everything. Did you know a few years ago, the first time in, I mean, for, you know, ever, the center of our galaxy, Milky Way, and Andromeda, which is the closest galaxy to us, the centers aligned. Do you know what's at the center of a galaxy? Anyone? Anyone? Bueller? Bueller? It is a black hole. Now, who's to say, we think we've seen that, you know, NASA and, you know, the scientists have seen that so far. I'm sure there are galaxies that exist that there's no black hole, but so far everyone seems to have a black hole. To me, that's probably a vortex into other dimensions, and probably where other beings pass through, come in and out. Who knows? I don't know, but I think black holes are very amazing, powerful, mysterious things. And our galaxy is aligned, and that black hole, that was the start of some really amazing stuff here. I'll bet you a lot of you don't even know that, right? I heard about that and I thought, that's a huge deal. These are two super powerful energies. Two black holes? Who knows what happened when that connected? Because there's no such thing as time and space, right? Not really. Everything's just connected as if it's right here as one. So I think we have a lot of stuff going on, and I want to suggest to you to use it. You want to use it? Let's do that. On the 21st, let's put our energy fields out and connect to it. When it happens, just go ahead and, you know, put positive vibes out, send your light and your love, and welcome the power of the planets, you know, that alignment. Welcome the energy into your body on a high frequency. Nothing can harm you. Nothing can harm you. Now, don't be looking at anything, you know, don't be like, ah. You're still a human being. Okay, so we covered a couple of things here. Let's see, what else did some people are asking me? I think the biggest thing is really for you to clean up your act in every area. Now, shut down the news. This is gonna test you. The biggest test is to stop judging. All day long, judge, judge, judge. Oh, she's this, blah, 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 blah. It's human nature. As long as you're in a body, you're going to have density. You can't escape it. The most enlightened person in a body experiences human feelings and emotions and the density of that. So don't think when you go into this fifth dimension that you know, everything's like heaven and nobody does anything. You're still on a dense planet. As long as you're on this planet, even in the higher dimensions, you will experience some density. All right? I want you to understand that. So because a lot of you are going to, you know, say, oh, I'm not in the fifth dimension because bad stuff's going on. No, it's what you're feeling and what you're experiencing. You can see things, but you won't think about it the same way. You will see it in a completely different viewpoint. Somehow it's going to have purpose. When things won't bother you as much, and on the other hand, some things will bother you even greater, because you're much more sensitive to things. Now, here's the deal. Oh, somebody said, how do I deal with negative people around me that are, you know, the family and stuff, if you can't get away from it? I actually find these negative conversations really funny. People have gotten really upset with me because I will start laughing, and they think I'm making fun of them, and I'm not. I'm laughing at how ridiculous the conversations are. They're like, it's like walking in an insane asylum and these people having these bizarre conversations, and, you know, some of it's really funny. And that's what I think. It's like I'm listening to insane people. And I find humor in it. I find it humorous that they're all holding the power. The same power that I do and Christ and everybody else, everything else has. And then they're talking like this and get themselves all riled up and focusing on the material world, and then they argue with each other. And I get people on my channel, the comments, you know, oh, blah, 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 blah. Okay. The other ones, oh, spiritual people shouldn't make money. Until the financial systems collapse, I'm sorry, but it costs 6 figures to run these platforms. I don't know if you guys know that. I don't know where that would come from if I didn't charge for my services. So get over it. And you should do that for yourself. Be abundant. Provide amazing services, get rewarded, and do the same. The money should flow. So remember, let's talk energy again. Money must flow. So I don't hoard it. I am giver. I tip the farmer. I go grocery shopping at the farmer's stand. I actually tip. Why? Because that couple extra bucks means nothing to me in the big picture, but it does to them. So that small contribution by everyone can change the world, right? Every month I automatically have money coming out to certain charities. A lot of them are most of them are animals, right? I want to give the people in the trenches the money to go do the tough stuff that I really don't want to do. I'm not up for that. And there are some amazing people that go and do some stuff and see some stuff that we never want to see. God bless them. I'll write the check because that's what I'm good at. I used to do events to raise the money. So I want you to switch over and think about, what can you do energetically that's really powerful? And if you're around this negativity, you've got to start seeing everything very differently. Everything you can see differently. So when things bad happen, know that they're dissolving. And so your focus has to be not on, this still exists, Get out of that. It doesn't exist. There's a probability where it doesn't exist. And that's just as real, by the way. But if you focus on that, solutions come. And we will start to go to the root of these things. How did the Amazon forest ever get cut down? How was that even possible? How would we allow that to happen? So we have to unite as a community where they're just not allowed. So the lower density people are going to be forced to make changes. So don't worry about that. You wield power in your higher frequency, not by being the critic. You're just like everybody else that's fighting with each other. It's nauseating. I can't even stand it. A movie came on, an actor I really liked, and I thought, I'm going to work on my stuff here on my computer. I'll watch a movie. There was some negative stuff in there. I shut that baby down so quick. Stuff I don't need to see. And that energy will affect you. You may have dreams or connect to that energy, and you're actually connecting to those things out there that really are going on. It's not just a movie. All right, so I really wanted to talk about this because a lot of people have asked me about this, and everything I want you to remember is this energy all interacting. And absolutely everything you do, you've got to be on it. And don't say you need to do this, I need to do this. If there's any lower frequency in it, it is not a fifth dimension person. It's not. It can't be. You're not tuned in. Never going to hear it because you're not tuned in. So you can't say, I'm a fifth dimension person. But these people are, no, you're not a fifth dimension person. You're just lying to yourself. That's what you're doing. I'm going to go out on my balcony. My little birdies are up there. Mommy's been sitting on her eggs. I hope she has her baby soon. I just love watching them. Connect to nature. Be outside as much as you can. Take walks. If you're not a runner like I am, go take walk. I actually took a walk today and went and got my groceries and, just really enjoyed this amazing day. Get sunshine on your head. Get some sun on your skin. You don't have to fry yourself if you're sensitive to that. I spend time in the sun. I don't put chemicals on my skin. I know. You can say whatever you want. But this is this brainwashing. I'm going to protect my skin from the sun. This is the biggest organ on your body, your skin. And whatever you put on it goes into your organs, your bloodstream and everything. If you're putting anything toxic on this, it's going inside of your body. It's toxic. If you kill anything with any kind of chemicals, those chemicals are going into everything else in your house and your body and your water and everything else. I want you to remember that. We got to clean it all up. By the way, thank you guys for giving me a suggestion for toothpaste. I'm trying a lot of different ones. Unfortunately, the ones that I'm trying are black. They've got charcoal in them. And they claim to whiten your teeth, but it's not happening. I have really nice white teeth, and So any more suggestions, I'm going to look it up on the internet, and I'm going to try a few things, and then I'm going to actually try it, and I'm going to post videos on my lifestyle channel. I'll start promoting that for you guys. It's free. And so I'm going to take you on tours of my house. I do cooking over there, and I also talk about the energy in the room and how you can arrange your furniture, products to use. I show about my hair and makeup and things like that. I have really amazing hair. You know, my dad died. He was laying in a coma, and I put my hands through his head and I went, "You have the most amazing hair." This guy was 81 years old. He had this thick hair, and I went, "Thanks, Dad, for the hair." But I'm going to show you all kinds of things that you can do to have fun and just really enjoy this material world, because again, it's energy, and the more you have fun with it, don't isolate yourself from it. Play with it. I mean, you won't get to do this when we go, we transition into our light being selves. We don't get to experience this quite the same way. So have fun, share things. You can't take it with you. If you have stuff, give gifts, give things away. It feels good, all right? We're going to have so much fun here. You guys, you're feeling it, aren't you? Aren't you feeling like something big is changing? We are actually back to business somewhat here in Georgia, but people are still cautious, and I don't feel a shift in a negative way. I feel a shift that we really still want to stay in the good parts of what this whole lockdown has provided for us, and we're not done. We're going to see some other things collapse. So again, you will participate in that, even if you're going in or going into the fifth dimension. You will experience it. You just won't feel the same way. So the old you would have freaked out about stuff. The fifth dimensional you is like, cool, it's going away. You know what somebody said in one of my comments, and I say this all the time, I didn't expect to see this in my lifetime. I didn't think I'd be here for it. And I think I'm going to be. I think I'm going to get to see it. That's pretty amazing. Wouldn't that be cool? If in our lifetime we got to see all the garbage collapse and something beautiful come from it. And if you go into the fifth, you will go through this transition of things dissolving. Won't be painful. It won't be fearful for you. And that's when the new earth is. We're not experiencing the pain and struggle of the old world. So I want you to understand how that works. So again, people think, oh, well, I must not be in the fifth because they see certain things. No, it's how you're feeling. Ask yourself how you're feeling, because your frequency in a fifth will not have the fear. And it'll understand, this is collapsing. All right. You might lose your portfolio. I haven't even looked to see I have no clue if there's any money in my portfolio right now. I really don't want to put my attention on it. Why? Because I'm focused on creating this life out here, and I don't want to live in that world again where we save, and then we go through recession and lose everything. It's ridiculous. So in my world, I'm not creating that. Money is abundant, it's always flowing for me, and whatever that is in that portfolio, there's going to be plenty for me if and when I ever need to go in there and use it for anything. I just don't concern myself with that. Neither can you. You're creating. So this is your future right now. Whatever you're thinking and feeling, go in. You're an energy field, creating energy fields, creating frequencies within them. So get busy, my friend. You're whole, perfect, strong, powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. So I want to talk about just one more thing, and I do this in a lot of my videos because it's been so amazing for the people that have come over. And this is this is a multi-million-dollar system that has a program going now to get people onto this amazing platform where they can learn internet marketing to create any kind of business online. No tech experience, no business experience, nothing. If you are a stay-at-home mom and you didn't even graduate from high school, you can learn this. Step by step. Amazing community, spiritually minded community, not religious, spiritually minded, supportive, rah-rah, people that are like, yeah, we're changing the planet. And they're creating businesses like holistic and coaching, and some are just affiliate marketers. But they're promoting stuff that they believe in that are good for the planet. So we're actually making choices away from that world that we were working in. It's so icky. We're switching over and saying, I'm making my own choices. I'm not being told what to sell. I'm choosing what to sell. to people that could change their lives in a really positive way. So if you're interested, you can sign up. This is a free workshop. You'll see me. You're going to see me pelt you with all kinds of free stuff, webinars and cool things, and you can just learn about it. And if you think it's of interest, then come on over, because I actually am there with everybody. I'm one of the students, and I hold live webinars, several every month, and I talk to you guys, and I help you and guide you because I'm very successful at this. You can do anything you want. If you're ready, come on over. You can take any of my courses, look in the description. I give you guys all kinds of things. You know, pick and choose. Let's do what it takes to get there. You're whole and perfect, strong and powerful, loving, harmonious, and happy. Blessings to you, my friend. I can't wait to hear the stories that you guys have when you start to implement all these amazing things. Awakening, blessings, abundance to you, peace, love, joy. Love one another. That's the test. That's the big one. Can you love one another? Can you have compassion? Can you at least look and say, there's another student? Try that. Namaste.